Hey everybody, this is going to be a video on how to make explosive barrels, red barrels, or any kind of actor that you want to explode and deal damage to things in the world like your players or zombies or whatever. It's going to be for the multiplayer zombie survival template, and let's hop right into it. So I'm just going to go into HGT blueprints and just going to make a brand new folder. Just call it explosive barrels. You could call it whatever you want. And inside here is where I'm going to put all my explosive stuff. So let's just start with a brand new blueprint class of type actor. I'll call it red explosive barrel. And let's open it up. And then you would just come up here and add your actual explosive barrel. It's probably going to be a static mesh, but I'm just going to use a cylinder because I don't have a static mesh for it right now. I'll just call it red barrel. And let's make it red. So I'll just pick a random material that's red. Alright, and let's go in over on the details panel. Let's make sure replicate is true for the, make sure you have the top level here, the root of the actor. Net update frequency, change it to something like 3. And start with tick enabled, disable that. And that should do it for now. And let's see, let's go into the event graph. We don't need tick or overlap. We'll start with begin play. We'll just do a drag off and say bind on destroyed. Bind event on destroyed. So when this gets destroyed, we'll run this new event here called play explosive effects. And we will just put spawn emitter at location, and you just pick whatever explosive effect you want. I'm just going to do explosive. The default explosion effect. Set the scale to something like 5, I guess. Whatever you want. It's your effect. You can adjust the scale however you want. If you're using Niagara, I think it's something else like Niagara emitter. Yeah, here it is. Spawn system at location or with parameters, whatever you want. Basically the same thing. It's just one's for cascaded effects, one's for Niagara. Yeah, you just pick what you want and spawn it in. I'm going to take off the destroyed actor, say get actor transform. And we'll just right click and split this struct, and we can plug in location and rotation. And then we'll just do the same thing with sound. Spawn, sound, at location. We'll plug in the location and set it to explosion. Let's just do the default grenade launcher sound that I already have in the template. You can change it to whatever you want. So now when it gets destroyed, it'll play an explosion effect and a sound. How do we make it destroy? Let's just right click and say event any damage. Anytime we take damage, we'll make it explode. But you probably want to have some health on it, right? So we'll make a new variable down here called health. And change it to a float. Compile. And let's see. You're probably going to want it replicated because... no. Let's do rep notify. I'll show you something cool about this. Change the replication to rep notify, and we will come in here and we will get it and then drag it in, set it, and basically we're going to take the health minus, where's minus? Subtract. It's called subtract in Unreal 5. There we go. We'll set the health to whatever this is. So basically the incoming damage, you'll take that damage, subtract it from the health value, and then set the health value, and then we'll just check to say is health less than or equal to 0. And if it is less than or equal to 0, then that means there's no health left. Blow up. So this is where we will do an apply radial damage with fall off, and then on that, after that, destroy actor. That's where it actually explodes. And the radial damage with fall off, pretty self-explanatory. Base damage, how much damage do you want it to do? We'll say 100. Minimal damage is like if you're on the outside, barely close enough to take some damage, maybe we'll do 50 damage. The origin, get actor location, that'll be the origin of the explosion. Inner radius and outer radius. When you look at the map from the top down, you can see, let's see, like if this is a person and you hold the middle mouse button, 500, maybe we'll do 600 and 300. How about that? It's up to you. However, whatever kind of size explosion you want. We'll say the inner radius is 300. If you're within 300 units, you're going to get the full 100 damage blast. If you're within 600 units, between 3 and 6, you'll only get around 50 damage. And the fall off, yeah, I'll just put like 2. And then self, we'll just get a reference to self, and that'll be the causer. And there you go. That should apply radial damage when it explodes to anybody that's around. They also have actors that you can ignore if you don't want certain actors to take damage, I guess. But it's kind of a weird hard set reference. So yeah, I don't see what would not want to get hurt by that. So we'll just leave that alone. And then you're like, why did we set this to rep notify for the health? I'll show you in a second. Let's set the health to something like default value of 1,000. 1, 2, 3. You can change it to whatever you want. We'll drag one into the level. I'm going to test it as a client just so you can see that it works for multiplayer. Hop into the game. There's the barrel. We shoot it. I don't know how it's done it. Oh, blew up. Played the sound effect. Should have put it over here next to the zombies. I'm gonna lower the damage. The health on it to like 250, because obviously 1,000 was a lot. All right, so we hop into the game now. 4 shots, it blows up. And let's test it against the zombies. Let's just throw one right here. Just dragging them in for testing. So now we shoot the barrel 4 times and it should kill some zombies. So that's how you do an exploding barrel. Now, like some of the games I've played, you would want something like fire, right? So I'm going to add a fire particle system. Particle system. You can use Niagara, Cascade, whatever you want. I'm going to call it fire effects, and we just need fire. And put it wherever you want. I'll put it like right there. So I don't want this to appear right off the bat, so let's type in auto activate, and we want to uncheck that. And what we want to do is we'll set the health here. Every time we set the health, we'll just do a branch to say is health less than or equal to whatever number we want. Let's say 100. So if the health gets below less than or equal to that, if true, then we'll just do once and then activate the fire effect. Niagara is probably a different, they might use activate. I'll just hit reset for the heck of it. So now if the health gets below 100, then it'll activate the fire. Let's see what happens then. We save the game. Ooh, already hit. Alright, so I shot it twice, and you can see that it's on fire. And then I'm just gonna get close to it. And it killed me and all the zombies. So it's pretty simple like that. Now, maybe you want to do something else like when it catches on fire, maybe you want it to tick down. So let's make a custom event called start countdown timer. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good name. Basically, whatever you call it, you want it to happen when you shoot it and it catches on fire, right? So let's see. We will say set timer by event and make it looping every 1 second. Create a new event and we'll just say tick down to explosion. Whatever you want to call it. And then we might need a let's see. Well, I guess it doesn't. You can actually do it. You don't have to do looping. You can just set a time right here to whatever you want the time to be. So maybe 5 seconds. So after 5 seconds, this will run and explode, right? So then we'll just say, technically you can just put it right there. So let's just move this down. Connect this up like this. So I'm just going to reuse the same thing, the radial damage and destroy. So we just had to call this event the start countdown timer. So inside the onRep health, where we did this before, this function, we're going to activate the fire, and then we're also going to start the countdown timer. This countdown timer is going to wait 5 seconds, and then it's going to blow out the barrel, regardless of if you shot it again or not. So hop into the game here. So once it catches on fire, like that, about 5 seconds before it explodes. Boom! There you go. That's just a simple little red barrel explosive. And you can play with all these values, play with the health values, play with this time right here that it for ticking down before it explodes. All that good stuff. And the only reason that I used an onRep is you probably don't have to, but like if you, let's say you had a red barrel right here and your player shot it and caught it on fire, but you didn't use the countdown here, maybe. Like it catches on fire and just stays on fire forever. Well, yeah, so one person, let's say one person's right there, catches the barrel on fire, and there's another person like 3,000 miles over here, which out of, if you know how multiplayer works, there's a relevancy range. So if you're really far away, you're not receiving updates from whatever your friend's doing over here until you get close. So you come trotting over here 30 minutes into the game, 30 minutes after the dude shot the barrel, and if you don't use like onRep variables, then you're going to show up and be like, oh look, a red barrel, and on his screen he'd be like, it's on fire, and on your screen you'll say, no, it's not on fire, because you were on the other side of the world when the barrel got caught on fire. But since we're setting it inside of this onRep variable here, when this barrel comes in relevant range again for another player, it will run this function and it'll say, hey, wait a minute, I'm less than 100 health. I need to activate my fire here. And then it'll show the fire for both players. Now that's really, I guess you really only need that if you aren't using this countdown part, because the countdown part's just going to blow the barrel up anyways. So, but you do need to, either way, you need to either rep notify or replicate it. Either way, you'll need one or the other. So just make sure you have one or the other, depending on what you need. Either one's fine. There's no drawback to either. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I think I think that's pretty much. I'm trying to think of all the games I've played that have like red explosive barrels and junk. I'm sure somebody will be like, "How do you do blah 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 with the barrel?" And I'll be like, "Ah, I forgot to put it in the video." But I mean, it's simple stuff. It's no big deal. Somebody might be like, "How do you add physics to it?" Well, yeah, you can do all that if you want, but physics are weird if you don't. For multiplayer, physics can be kind of wonky sometimes. You might not be in the right spot on everyone's screen. But you could play with it. There's probably more videos on that. But hopefully that helps out a little bit. Thanks for watching. And feel free to join the Discord for more questions and to just hang out and talk about all the cool stuff you've been working on. And thanks for watching.